Today, we're going to do something really cool. We're going to act like architects, but instead of a building, we're designing a blueprint for the mind. We'll take this amazing ancient list of virtues and see how we can turn it into a real, practical plan for our own growth.
So, you've probably come across lists of virtues in different spiritual traditions, right? Well, one of the most powerful is the list of the 10 perfections. But here's the problem we're tackling today. Is it just a beautiful list of ideas, or does it ever feel like a big, confusing pile of puzzle pieces with no picture on the box to guide you?
Okay, so let's start with that traditional list and dig into why it can sometimes feel like a challenge if you're actually trying to put it into practice in your daily life.
First things first, let's get our main terms straight. Parami, or perfections. Now, what are they? Well, think of them as these core human qualities, things like generosity, patience, truthfulness, that you cultivate and strengthen over time, all with the goal of reaching a deeper kind of spiritual understanding. The thing is, when you look at how this list is traditionally presented, it's just a list. It's incredibly profound, don't get me wrong, but there's no clear step-by-step, start here, then do this kind of progression. It kind of feels like someone just handed you a toolbox full of amazing tools, but with absolutely no instruction manual. You know you have what you need, but you're not sure how to build anything with it.
So what's the solution to this jumble of tools? This is where a different way of looking at it comes into play. A framework that gives us the structure, the blueprint that the original list was missing, and it's called the 4 determinations.
And that brings us to our second key idea, adhisthana, or determinations. Now, this is important. This isn't just about passively hoping for the best. It's about making an active, focused resolution. It's an act of will, a conscious decision to steer your practice in a very specific direction.
And this whole framework, this entire blueprint for the mind, is built on just 4 of these core determinations. They act like the main support pillars for our entire inner architecture.
And here they are, the 4 pillars. A resolution to really value discernment, to protect what's true, to practice letting go, and to actively train for a state of calm. These 4 resolutions are about to bring a whole new world of clarity to those 10 perfections.
All right, now for the really cool part. Let's see how this blueprint takes those 10 perfections and organizes them into a system that actually makes sense. This is where it all clicks into place.
Just look at how beautifully this works. Under the main pillar of discernment, we place the perfections of discernment and goodwill. Makes sense, right? Under truth, we group together truth, virtue, and persistence. Under relinquishment, we have giving and renunciation. And finally, under calm, we find endurance and equanimity. Suddenly, it's not a random list anymore.
Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, hang on, you said there were 10 perfections. Where's the last one? And that is an excellent question. The 10th perfection is determination itself. See, it's not just another item on the list. It's the engine, the focused energy that drives the entire project. It's the framework itself.
So, okay, it's a neat way to organize things, but why does this structure actually matter? What's the big deal? Well, this isn't just about making a tidy chart. It reveals some really deep insights into how this practice actually works.
Here's the first huge takeaway. This framework makes it crystal clear that spiritual growth is an active project. These amazing qualities don't just happen to you by accident. You have to want them. You have to decide to develop them. It shifts the whole thing from being a passive journey to an intentional act of creation.
Second, there's a very good reason discernment is placed first. Think of it as the master strategist. It's the wisdom that guides everything else. Without discernment, all our hard work, our persistence, our goodwill, it could all be misdirected. Discernment is what turns simple action into wise action.
And finally, this structure shows us that these qualities aren't in their own little separate boxes. They're all interconnected. They feed into each other. You know, goodwill without the wisdom of discernment can actually cause problems. Your virtue is how you express your commitment to truth. And maintaining a calm equanimity isn't a passive state. It takes real persistence. They all grow together.
So all of this leads us to this really practical, powerful way of thinking about the whole process. It's about combining your head and your heart to build a stable, reliable inner home, a place your mind can live. Let's just put it as simply as possible. The 10 perfections, generosity, truth, patience, all of them, those are your tools. They're absolutely essential. But the 4 determinations, that is your architectural blueprint. It's the plan, the structure, the whole strategy.
And this is really the whole point. You could have the most expensive hammer and the finest wood in the world, but without a blueprint, you're not going to build a house that can withstand a storm. It's the same with our minds. Just having virtues isn't enough. We need a plan to build something truly lasting and meaningful with them.
So, this ancient wisdom gives us a stunningly clear blueprint. And that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. If your virtues are the tools and your determinations are the plan, what's the blueprint for the person that you, right now, are actively building?